Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. We got a lot to talk about on today's program, so I think I'm going to get straight to it. First guest name is Amy K. Hutchens, and we're going to. And her first name. This caught me as interesting. I'm going to ask her about it to get it started. Is Amy K. But she's an interesting person, and we're looking forward to this conversation. And she's essentially created a think tank program for CEOs and C-suite individuals that really talks about how to help them take their business to higher levels and really examines the best kept secrets of those in the C-suite. Amy K., welcome to the program. Tell us about your name.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. I wish I had some great story where I was hacking through, the jungles of Thailand, but back before the internet was invented, there was this crazy thing, where you had to actually book and call the airline for your tickets, and I was late twice, so I ruined my grandmother's plans, and there she said, you know what? She's going to make their presence known, and therefore I got nicknamed Amy K.
Was that her name?
No, but she decided that my middle name needed to be attached to my first name. And so I have been Amy K. since I was 2 days old.
Wow. Man, you talk about child abuse before even being born.
She was actually a lovely woman, and it's so funny because there was only about 6 months in my life where I didn't like it, and it was that classic age 13. Otherwise, it's been good to me.
Really? That's fantastic. That says a lot about you being emotionally well-adjusted. I think I would be battling that name, especially if I were a boy. But even as a girl, I'd be battling that name my entire life. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. A lot of people want to call me Mary Kay, and I'm always like, you know what? If I can be as successful as she is, I'm okay with that.
You'll cry all the way to the bank. I understand. So talk a little bit, Amy Kay, about your think tank, when you got it started, and what was behind it in the very beginning.
The reason that I started the think tanks about 15 years ago was that I heard for so many years leaders say it's lonely at the top. And I really felt like my response needed to be not anymore. We need to be able to talk about our fears and our foibles, our afflictions, not just the 10 best steps to success. One of the things that I've noticed, having worked very closely with leaders over the years, is that underneath the title, the role, or the business jacket of a leader is just a human being struggling to figure it out, and it's a leader with secrets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have a new book about it, right? The Secrets Leaders Keep?
I do.
Talk a little bit about that. And by the way, how many leaders did you interview for that book?
Oh, I have worked closely with I would say probably a couple thousand, and then over the years, I'm well into the six digits for having spoken with, but with the think tanks themselves, just thousands over the last 15 years. And so the book, The Secrets Leaders Keep, really focuses on just three things, and that is that every leader has secrets, and these secrets directly influence how they lead, both positively and negatively. It covers the leadership learning curve, that leaders learn on the job continuously, and that the third thing is that you're not alone. It doesn't have to be as lonely at the top as people think it is.
Right. Is one of the objectives is to create a place for leaders to go to engage with one another, communicate with one another? Is that one of the goals of Amy K, AmyK.com, by the way?
Yes, it is. Leaders need a safe place. One of the things that, they're highly judged. They're usually quite highlighted. They're in the spotlight. And so it's very difficult for them to talk about the secrets that they keep in an environment that makes them realize, okay, wait a minute, my secrets may not be as secret as I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably like going to a 12-step program, right? I thought I was the only one with that problem.
Hopefully less painful. Although, it's so interesting that you brought that. So let's go with that for a second. So real world news, current events, you have University of Southern California's football coach, Steve Sarkisian. He had quite the drunken spectacle last week. But what was more fascinating to me, and this is a prime example that I'm talking about in the book, is that it wasn't that he made a misstep or a mistake. Leaders do that. It was what he did with it. He met with the players afterward. He shared some of his secrets with his players confidentially. And then the quarterback, Cody Kessler, came out and he said, you know what? He came to us as a man. He apologized. He's earned more respect from us. And I think that understanding a leader's secrets allows others to more graciously accept their fears and foibles. One of the characters in the book just happens to be a high school football coach who just won the state championship. And he talks about what it really means to be a champion, recognizing the dignity of your fellow man. And so current events, Sarkeesian situation, just parallels exactly what my stories are revealing, that not only are talented leaders making mistakes, but there are new leaders emerging who are also on the leadership learning curve and learning things like demonstrating loyalty and unity of command, like Kessler.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. Well, there's a saying, you're only as sick as your secrets, and you're
Yes.
you're also only really, you're also with those secrets, you end up isolating yourself. You're failing the opportunity to have iron sharpening iron when you talk to other executives, and so I think it's really cool what you're doing. Now, in your book, how many actual interviews are included in your book?
Well, now that's interesting. I did stories. So these are creative amalgamations. These are the patterns and the themes that I've seen from thousands of leaders over the years. So I took creative liberty to say, okay, factually out in the world with real-world experience, I'm exposing the secrets that sabotage the effectiveness of our own efforts to achieve success as well as to increase happiness. But I'm also showing that when you expose a secret, if only to yourself and work through it, it can transform the way that you lead. So I have 14 creative leaders, 7 men, 7 women, who express some of the most common secrets that I witnessed as a confidant over the years.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, so you basically create individuals here. They're not actual individuals. They're really pieces of several individuals you interviewed.
Correct. Although I'm laughing because in a focus group that we did a couple months ago, I had a lot of men and women in this focus group come up and be like, oh, my gosh, this one's about me. Did you know about me? I'm like, I just met you. But it was a great validation that the secrets that I've chosen to include in the book are ones that are resonating as common experiences for leaders in our modern world today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think, and by the way, it's interesting that you created these individuals because you had to protect the anonymity of those who you interviewed.
Well, yes, but it's so funny because somebody asked me the other day too, why stories? And Kevin, really and truly, storytelling is ingrained in our DNA.
Sure
Long
is.
before we had written language, we had oral historians, and sometimes we just need to hear the parable, the story, to better understand the message rather than here's the 10 steps to leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. So the listener out there. By the way, what were the size range of the business CEOs and C-level individuals you interviewed? Were they primarily mid-market, enterprise, or were they really all over the place?
They were actually a very diverse group of people. Lots of CEOs to mid-sized companies ranging from size of 10 million up to $1 billion. Again, but a lot of in the middle marketplace across industry spectrum. So I've done everything from, banking to sales and marketing and real estate to financial, wealth management, all the way to marketing, design, and branding. So we try to cover a wide breadth of leadership positions. And in the stories, we do that as well. So we've got a serial entrepreneur, we've got a mogul, we've got a pastor, we've got multiple CEOs, global ambassadors for nonprofits, just to show you that leaders, no matter what perspective or industry they're playing in, they're still humans that are struggling to figure it out.
Loved having you on the program. Amy K. Hutchens is her name. And by the way, you can go to amyk.com. I do want to remind you, best content here, including this interview, will be found over there at usdailyreview.com. Thanks so much for being with us, Amy K.
Thank you so much for having me.
When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.